it might be easier. I know we always talk about MCU movies and, yeah, this one's like top half film. I think it might be easier for me to sort out the DC movies, but I would have to sit down and think about it.
I mean, there's also like
there's less movies, so it's easier.
A much shorter list of movies to factor into that.
But it's a lot easier for me to be like, okay, at the bare minimum, I know the first Suicide Squad is at the bottom. Okay. I never watched the director's cut of BVS, but I know the first time I saw the theatrical release, I fucking hated it. So that's at the bottom.
Yeah, it was not good.
I didn't know Mike was the one true movie buff in the group. It's a PTC Movie Club episode, and Mike's he just saw Flash. He's going to see Spider-Verse right now. He's in the theater.
Mike, did you see 1980 something?
Wonder Woman. Oh yeah, I forgot I did see that.
Bottom, right?
Yeah, that wasn't great.
I think that's
I didn't see it. I've only heard bad things about it though.
Yeah,
I haven't heard like anything good about it.
No, that one was pretty universally disliked. Even Black Adam was whatever.
Listen, be careful what you say. The Rock's gonna come after you, Mike.
Yeah, that's true. I think he's happy now though. He's gonna do some more Fast and the Furious stuff.
Wait, he was in the most recent Fast and the Furious movie? If it's a spoiler, I guess don't answer it. But
no, no.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Maybe.
Dom is muted. Or I can see your mouth moving, but
we cannot hear you. Wow, all three of you having audio issues. With my luck, this episode is going to just not function, and we're not going to realize it until after. So
it's
a terrible precedent.
This made me think of something else that we'll mention sometime during the actual episode.
I mean, we are recording right now.
I know, but when we actually start talking about the movie itself.
I mean, I wish we were recording when you were giving your little theater experience from the Flash, but I mean, we don't have to relive that unless you got like a bite-sized version of that you want to.
It's nothing crazy, and I almost want to ask because I think the guy had mentioned that he had a podcast. I almost want to be like, yo, let me just know what your show is called.
I just need to come up without you engaging with this person
because I could overhear parts of the conversation he was having. So like he was explaining how some dude biked 26 miles to go to the showing. He legit biked 26 miles to come see this film, and like that's cool.
I mean, yeah, if that's the journey you want to have for yourself, I guess that's cool. Was there nowhere else showing this early showing? Was this only in the city?
It was only in the city. Yeah. Oh, there's Dom.
They generally only do them
like in one.
It seems like around here it's only at the Common.
Yeah, which I guess.
I mean, the Guardians.
Guardians. There were two, I think.
Yeah, Guardians, and what was the other thing I saw? John Wick. That was both in assembly.
AW4.
Listen, I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum. I mean, I think collectively we've all waited for, traveled for, done stupid things for things be like, the Flash just doesn't seem like that thing to me personally. But I also don't like DC movies really, so I'm not really in that.
So
I'm not really in that ecosystem.
I guess. Oh no! I mean, I still could just do all my picks just be DC movies. Starting from the top, I'll do Man of Steel.
Don't do it.
That's easy. You give me movies to watch. That's easy.
I'm actually curious. I'm pretty sure that the only DC movie that Brenden has seen is BVS.
Yes.
No, he only saw Justice League.
Terrible.
He only saw. The three of us went to go see Justice League together.
Was it Justice League or BVS?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know what the difference is between those movies.
Yeah, well, the Justice League has
there's Justice League Superman is bad, right? And he tries to fight them?
Yes.
That's the movie I saw with you guys.
Okay, yeah.
Because spoiler alert, he died at the end of BVS.
Don't care. Literally, none of that.
I know you don't. I know you don't care. I'm just saying, like, that was the setup for the film, is that he was dead at the previous film, and they had to resurrect him.
Yeah. I mean, what's considered canon? Or like, is it not canon for them? Like, I don't.
The only thing that's not actually that film, the one that you watch, is the only one that I would say is probably not canon.
Of course. Well, it doesn't matter then.
I don't really know how they're playing with that one versus the Zack Snyder cut.
Yeah.
But I guess it's all irrelevant anyway, because doesn't the Flash movie isn't that going to just essentially reboot their movie universe? Isn't that what the point of the movie is?
That was the original plan.
Maybe it's unclear.
Okay.
That was the plan before what's his face took over.
Oh yeah,
James Gunn.
Gunn. James Gunn.
Okay. All right.
I mean, they still could.
Yes,
They still could do it.
It's likely that that last scene that we were talking about is going to be something to do with that.
Yes.
Hey, listen, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Mike. You said you'd put it in your top half. Is that what you said?
Yeah, probably. But again, I'm now realizing when I was thinking about it, number one, I forgot about Wonder Woman 84, which again wasn't that good. I forgot about Black Adam, which mid, I guess, if I'm being generous.
I mean, off the top of the dome, do you
watch
have like
the
your top,
second
like your
Shazam?
favorite DC movie?
Wait, what did Dom say?
He said
Did
Shazam.
you watch Fury of the Gods?
Yes, which is on Max now if you want to watch it.
Not watching that shit.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought the first one was better.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, anyways.
Yeah. So, do I have like a top?
Yeah,
so
just off
again,
the bat, like if someone was like, "What's your favorite DC movie?" Do you have that answer or no?
it would probably be the Justice. I mean, it would probably be the Suicide Squad, but Shazam or what was the other thing? Actually, I'd say Shazam has it has a good shot. It's probably up there too. Aquaman was fine. It was also a better than the other ones, I would say. And I know the first time I saw Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman, I thought it was their strongest showing up to that point. I don't know if it still lives up to that.
Okay.
But at the time when it came out, it was my favorite of the films they'd put out.
What is?
I watched it recently. The first half holds up, but the second half kind of sucks. The first Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no interest in any of that shit. What's your hype level like going into Spider-Verse tonight, Mike?
I've been hearing a lot of good things, and considering how much I liked the first one, I'm really hoping that I walk out of that film thinking, "Oh boy, this was good," and ignore the fact that it sounds like it's doing a thing where it definitely ends in a in a to be continued kind of way.
Yeah.
I've heard one bad thing about a specific character.
Ooh, okay.
And it's less. I guess it's less of a bad thing than the way the character is characterized.
Okay. I have a theory. I don't know for certain, but just based off like this one casting that I didn't know about beforehand, I'm wondering if it's this one thing I'm thinking of.
Let me look up the casting because I don't remember who is playing the person that I'm thinking of.
Then maybe we're talking about different things. I can text you exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm going to look up who is playing the person that I'm talking about anyways.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, friends of the show that I know are
I'm thinking it's probably
the thing I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
That are usually a little harsher critics, especially of superhero movies, seem to all have really enjoyed Spider-Verse. So, what is it? Is it called Into the Spider-Verse? What is this called? Across the
Spider-Verse?
The first one's called Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
Yep.
The third one's Beyond.
Oh, Correct. That's already like an announced thing. The third movie's called Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be more? Wait, it's coming out next year? It's already has released it?
They made the second two at the same time.
Maybe I did know that.
The big old Back to the Future treatment.
I love it. Lord of the Rings treatment.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't they film 2 and 3 at the
same time?
They filmed
all 3
at the same time?
I believe so.
I mean,
that's a gamble. But it paid off.
It did pay off. But anyways, welcome everyone to the Pass Control Podcast, a show where a couple of best friends talk about the latest video games and nerd culture. Sometimes we have guests. Sometimes we talk about Mike's thoughts on the DC universe too much. Either way, we have a new episode for you each and every week. As always, I'm your host, Brenden, and joining me on this lovely Saturday evening, forgot what day it was, is the anime senpai himself, Mr. Michael Azir. Mike, how are you?
We got to wrap this up quick.
Okay. Also joining us tonight, of course, is the Disney daddy himself, Mr. Dominic 40. Dom, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well.
And rounding us...
I'm not going to take up any more time than that. Go ahead. Go get the time.
And rounding us out, of course, is Todd Gary.
Todd's here.
who's not here at the moment, but is here, but must have stepped away for, dad duties.
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
I was expecting him to slide into frame and fucking fall over or something. Anyway, so we got a great show for you tonight. We're gonna, of course, talk about the PTC Movie Club for May, which we're a little bit late on. We apologize, but we're just into June. It's not that late. A couple days, What's a couple days anyway? But we're gonna talk about Manchester by the Sea. So if you don't want that movie spoiled for you in any way, if you haven't watched it yet, or if you don't plan on watching it, then this podcast episode probably not for you. So skip it. Pause it for later or whatever you need to do. But from this point forward, expect us to chat anything and everything Manchester by the Sea. But before we do that, Dom, do you have your June pick locked and loaded? You want to drop that hot fucking...
Yeah, but it's kind of a... It kind of needs to be a question to the group, so we'll wait until Todd's here.
Okay. So there you go, a little stinger, a little spoiler. So if you are not going to listen to this episode for whatever reason, either A, you don't want to watch Manchester by the Sea, or B, you haven't watched Manchester by the Sea yet, then you're going to have to, tune in, skim through the... Oh, Todd is back. Todd said, I want to know. Todd said, bring me the movies.
Oh, it's a nightmare in my house right now.
So... The idea for my next movie pick is I don't think something that we've done before.
Oh, I like that.
It's a movie that just came out, so it's not available streaming anywhere. So everyone would have to pay for it.
Oh, that's fine.
But it's out digitally? I can pay for it in my house.
It is out digitally,
yeah,
correct.
I don't care about that. I personally don't care about that.
Then my pick for June is Blackberry.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Nice.
That's the biopic.
Glenn
I don't know
Howard's
if it's how Glenn Howard. Yeah, it's I don't know how real the movie actually is, the story, but okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's... Well, from what I remember hearing from Glenn Howard and talk about is that he just had to make up how he thought the guy acted like, because I believe he wasn't a very public figure, and there wasn't a lot of... He didn't have a lot of material to go off of to base his portrayal off of.
Is that real guy still alive?
Yeah, and I think he'd mentioned that I don't know if he said that he met him or he had the opportunity to meet him or something like that, but where was I forget where I saw it. It must have been on the Always Sunny podcast that they were talking about it.
You'd think if the guy was still alive, he'd want to at least consult how they're going to portray him.
Yeah, the way he spoke about it, it seems like it was a mutual, not necessarily a mutual thing, but apparently this guy wasn't interested in being a part of it in any way. That's or fair, whatever. And I don't think I have animosity or anything. It's just he's a very secretive guy, or
I guess
reclusive.
Too, how much is this movie going to affect that real person's life? Maybe it's not going to really affect it in any way, so he doesn't.
Yeah.
If he really is that type of person that doesn't care about how the movie may frame his legacy, I have no idea.
This guy's a jerk. I'm not going to buy a BlackBerry anymore. What's going to happen?
What does he do now? Maybe he owns fucking Androids. Maybe he owns Samsung Galaxies. Maybe he's the guy behind your phone.
Well, I know he's not, but I guess that's a possibility.
Yeah,
I know the Canadian guy is not in charge of the Korean company.
Listen, you never know. I don't know how these things work. Anyways, cool. So we're gonna watch Blackberry for the month of June. So blame Dom if you don't have money and can't afford to buy the movie or rent the movie or however it works. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if people.
It's possible before the end of the month it will be available streaming somewhere. Yeah. I think.
I think it might be a 2-week thing before it's rentable.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
It came out this week that we're in, so the beginning of this week. So it's possible that in a week and a half it's available streaming.
Yeah.
I think Hulu gets the studio that made this movie generally. So
okay. So yeah, I mean,
keep you up to date.
Not only that, if you really don't feel like spending money, don't have the money to spend on the movie, you can always just
wait for it to be streaming and
pocket this episode and listen to it in the future. I promise we're not going to have anything groundbreaking to say about the film that you're going to be like, I wish I could listen to that episode of the podcast. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's the best episode we ever fucking record.
Maybe we become serialized and there's a lot of long running plot threads within the podcast that you miss out on.
This is like a backwards way that content creators gate their content. we're asking you to go spend money on something else to listen to our podcast instead of
Correct.
spending money with us to listen to something. So
it is a unique, way to do things, but it could work.
Yeah.
It could work.
Maybe. Anyway, so you get that for June if you want to entangle yourself with that film. But before we get into Manchester by the Sea, a couple of quick housekeeping things. This episode of the show, of course, sponsored by our good friends at Goodnight Fatty from the Salem, Massachusetts area or the North Shore of Massachusetts on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You want yourself something hot, something sweet, something tasty, something fresh out of the oven. You can head on down to 1 Washington Square from 11 to 11 and get yourself something super tasty, something super delicious. I promise you will not regret it. I got some fatties this morning because they were, well, not this morning, this afternoon, because they were open early now. They're sitting downstairs in my kitchen, ready to go. I think one of them is a cannoli cookie, one of them is a Twix something, and the other one is like a banana bread. So looking forward to diving into those later tonight while I'm playing some Street Fighter. Anyways, so enjoy them. Follow them on social media at Goodnight Fatty, at Good Morning Chubby, and educate yourself on those tasty treats. A couple other housekeeping things. We're in process with a bunch of different games. I know, obviously, if you listened to last week's episode, Dom and I are in the middle of playing through Lord of the Rings Gollum, so we'll have some further thoughts when we give that game some more time. We're also in the process of playing Street Fighter 6 and Diablo 4, so you can look forward to our thoughts on those games as the month progresses. And then I feel like there was something else. There was a new cocktail video up over on our YouTube channel for Street Fighter 6. So if you want to learn how to make a quarter circle punch and enjoy that this week while you're playing Street Fighter 6, you can head on over to our YouTube channel and check that out. I'll probably have one up maybe tomorrow for Diablo. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. If I feel like having a beverage tomorrow, I'll make it tomorrow. If not, I'll make it sometime around the week. Either way, that's our housekeeping. So, as we do with all of our PTC Movie Club episodes, we start with the box office mojo. So, with a budget of $9 million, what do we think Manchester by the Sea grossed worldwide? Mikey Mike.
30. Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say 25, but I'm gonna go with 30.
Okay. What about you, Todd?
I don't know. I'd say 36.
Okay. Dom, you splitting the diff? Are you going high, going low? What are you doing here?
I'm gonna go 25.
Okay. You all had no faith in this film. This is why these types of movies fail. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't think you were that far off in your reasoning probably for choosing those numbers. But this did almost 79 million.
Oh, huge.
So
I didn't think it got.
You know what? It probably got
big
a lot of
releases.
screenings after the Oscar
yeah.
buzz and everything.
Yeah.
So it got a cool 78.98 mil in the box office, which for this type of film with that budget is probably a huge success.
You know what that means? You know what that means? Sequel?
I don't know if we need that. I mean, it's possible. The character are living characters.
Does it say anything about?
It says Lee Chandler will return.
Does it say anything about like it getting put back in theater? Like, does it have like a
let me see,
like original release, re-release kind of thing? Because I am curious if it like made 30 mil and then made another 40 after it like.
It looks like it must have got a limited release in November. I'm assuming to let it qualify for awards. And then, because it says November 18th, 2016, and then in parentheses it says December 16th, 2016. I don't know what that means. But then it says it stayed in theaters until April 27th. But I feel like there's no way it stayed in theaters that long. So it probably at some point left and then went in, maybe? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Or maybe it did stay in the whole thing, because I'm scrolling through, and there's no gap of no money for those dates. So...
What if we got
with that Oscar buzz?
What if we got a sequel where Lee was working with Will Hunting?
Ooh.
They're both janitors.
Shared universe? A shared math universe?
I have a theory why he is a janitor, not like a stupid theory like that, but just like why that character specifically is
Oh, that's a stupid theory.
Well, no, it's not a stupid theory. I'm just saying, like, not related to that. It's just like I have a feeling why they wrote the character as the janitor, but we can get into that in a second. So there's that, and then of course we also go with Manchester by the Sea, Rotten Tomatoes score, tomato meter. Mike, what are you thinking? Tomato? What are you thinking? Audience, Mike?
I think audiences fucking love this movie.
I don't.
Let's see. I think critic was probably like a 93.
Okay.
I think audience is 86.
Okay. Todd, what about you?
I'm gonna go 97, 80. What did Mike say? What did Mike say for his?
I don't know.
93.86.
Did Todd look them up?
And you said 97.80.
Yes.
Did Todd look them up?
I don't know. I just assume Todd does every time now. Dom, what do you got?
I'm gonna go 95.78.
It was a fucking almost perfect score for Dom with a 96.
I literally just split the difference.
With a 96.78. So critics loved it. People said it was like
people
fine.
tend to not like it.
Like,
They said it's alright.
I mean, I don't know. 78's not bad, right? 78's pretty good.
No, but
that's certified fresh, right? That's still, I mean, certified. That's still fresh or whatever the audience.
Certified fresh.
I don't know
is
if it's certified fresh, but it is a tomato.
Critic one on the people one. It's a bucket of popcorn. I don't know what these logos mean.
It means certified buttery smooth.
Listen, if I was a movie, I'd want to be certified buttery. That's fucking come on. Dip me down, drip me up. You know what I'm saying?
I think the complaint that people had with this movie was that.
Oh, we getting right into complaints? Is that what we're doing?
No.
I'm
saying like, I think the reason that people didn't like this movie though is because there's like no really happy ending to it, and I saw that in a lot of complaints of people who were like, like they're like he never turned it around and everything, and I'm like, all right, fucking real life.
That's life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's life, baby.
I will say, Todd, you gave me the wrong expectations going into this movie. Off the bat, I'll just say this because you made it seem like this movie was gonna fucking tear me apart, Lisa. You made me feel like I was gonna go in there and be a fucking puddle. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't that emotional this movie, which I was kind of surprised by because even some of the things that we'll get into, like I was kind of like, I don't know. And I don't know if it's because I didn't feel attachment to the characters. Because here are my two biggest, because Todd brought up gripes. Here are my two biggest gripes of the movie, and then we can get into things in more detail. I feel like Michelle Williams' character should have had more time in this movie because I think arguably some of the best scenes in the movie are when it's the two of them. And the fucking Boston accents in this movie are terrible. They are so fucking bad. So
kids
fucking
was
bad.
Especially bad.
I honestly
hate everybody else.
So
it sounds like what people sound like when they're talking around these areas.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. No, it does not.
I sound that stupid. Yes, I do.
I felt most of it. I felt most of it was normal. The kid had a few times where I was like, he is trying real hard.
I didn't even notice the kid. I wasn't even paying attention to his even accent.
The kid sounded like the kid and his two guy friends when they're in their fucking
talking about Star Trek.
Yeah, yes, that whole scene. I'm sitting here and I'm going, these kids are just doing a fucking Ben Affleck, Jimmy Fallon SNL sketch of overacted Boston accents. That's what that felt like the whole time to me. That is not.
I'm telling you right. Listen,
that's how people. That's how some people talk closer to the city, not up here, not in fucking Manchester by the Sea. They do not talk like that.
I don't know.
So hold on, let me say something.
People in Gloucester have a really bad accent too.
Yes,
but not. I don't know. There's something about this, the girlfriend in that scene when they're talking about Star Trek. Terrible Boston accent, horrible.
Dude,
yeah.
And at one point says she's having this overplayed accent, and then she says something to him with no accent, and I'm just like, who is consulting these fucking accents on this movie? It's so bad.
Casey.
Yeah.
See, and his is not a traditional Boston accent, but that's just his voice, and it just sounds like how a person talks. Where everyone else just sounds like they're the hockey coach. Terrible.
Oh, the hockey coach was terrible. I think the hockey coach was terrible. Yeah.
But that's an impactful scene. That's like a big scene, and he's got a garbage accent. I feel like the doctor and the nurse don't really have Boston accents, which is fine. People.
I was trying to decide if that was actually Beverly Hospital.
I don't know if the inside was. The outside definitely was. I've been to that hospital.
Yeah, I've been inside.
I had to go there to get my balls checked one time.
Yo, I'm telling you,
it was for a soccer accident. I got one of the times I got kicked really hard in the nuts. I'm pretty sure is when I had to go to the Beverly. I don't know. I think I'm in the Beverly Hospital. It's like not even near where soccer practice was.
Yeah, who knows?
I'm pretty sure that's why I went there. I don't know. I've been to that hospital one time though.
I got my balls fondled there. one way or the other.
I've definitely been inside that hospital. I definitely got kicked in the nuts really hard. The two might be related, but I don't know for certain.
Did I never?
Somebody touched my balls. So
I have got to at some point have told the story of me having to get an ultrasound and getting kicked so hard in the nuts in soccer.
I mean, I remember it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you were fucking there.
Yeah.
I probably heard the story before. I mean,
yeah,
I don't need
you've definitely heard the story at some point, Mike. But I'm sure I've brought it up on the podcast for some fucking no reason at all.
No, hopefully.
Since we're all over the place right now, yeah. I will continue with the like locale thing. The beginning of the movie where he's driving to Manchester, where he's driving to Beverly. I'm sorry, he is all over the fucking place. At one point he's in Lynn, at one point he's in Salem, and then he goes like back to like Gloucester, and then he's like forward in Beverly. I was like,
I took him so long to the hospital. That's why he missed Joe dying.
This driving is not like linear at all.
No, they definitely
it wasn't. I mean, obviously that's not anything anyone else would notice, but
yeah. And that's like, I mean, that's just them trying to have like good looking shots in a movie. Like I don't blame them for stuff like that. Though there was another noticeable like locale thing for me when they go to, I think it's when they go to the funeral home in Beverly to like meet with the mortician. Is that what that person's called?
I guess.
I think he refers to him as an undertaker, but
okay. So they're like walking up by the cemetery looking where I know exactly where that cemetery is. I drive by it a lot. It's in Beverly. So they are actually in Beverly for this scene. And they're walking up and down the street looking for the car. He's like, where the fuck's my car? And then when they get to the scene where they find the car and they're in front of the water, I'm almost positive that they are over by Endicott College, which is nowhere. Like, they would have walked so fucking far.
Still in Beverly.
It's still in Beverly, but they would have walked so far from that cemetery to get there. Like, that's not a short walk. They would have remembered they parked over there. Like there is like you can still walk to water from where that cemetery is, but it looked like they were across the street from Endicott College, unless they weren't. But that's what it looked like to me. There were some interesting things I will say, and I kept bringing it up, and Jen was getting so mad. There were so many shots in this movie that had, like, you could tell that it was like a Market Basket brand like food item, and I kept pointing it out, and she's like, please fucking stop. And I'm like, how often do you see Market Basket shit in a movie? Like, I feel like I've never seen Market Basket shit in a movie. It was just funny to me.
All the chicken that fell out of the freezer.
Yes, it was all that yellow fucking styrofoam. But there was like a Market Basket brand cereal because you could see the Market Basket logo. He pours Market Basket milk because you can see the logo. It's like blurred out, but you can still see it. And it's like dumb shit that no one's gonna fucking care about. But I'm like, oh, it's fucking Market Basket. I just fucking loved it. It was funny. It was just, it was pulling me through the movie. It was giving me a little like, all right, we get something to laugh at.
A little fun time.
I don't know. I think I'm just continuing to realize that whenever they portray like a Massachusetts person on TV or movies, it's just most of the time, at least in the stuff that I've seen, way overacted. And I don't know if that's just because it's like meant to appeal to non-Massachusetts people, like, and that's just how they see us as fucking.
I think I've had a complete different experience because, like, I grew up in Beverly. Like, dude, like that's how everyone fucking talked, dude, with thick accents. Like, if you met some of my friends, they're like Southie kids. Like, they just sound like fucking like stupid. I feel like I have a cool accent. But I'm telling you, like,
your accent sounds nothing like, dude, Star Trek, dude, it's the best. You kidding me, bro?
Younger,
like, you don't talk like that. Like, are there people that talk like that? Yes, but
that's because Todd doesn't like Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
But listen to what you just said. People that your friends from Southie, exactly. In the city, they have way thicker accents than up here.
No, I'm saying, but that's what they sounded like. Like half of these kids, like all these kids I grew up with, like O'Keefe, like all like Irish kids, that like. run their mouth and everything and have that like ridiculous accent to say like.
I just felt like it was super noticeable. Listen.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying though. But like
my dad's from Charlestown. I've spent plenty of time around people with super thick Boston accents. It just doesn't. It doesn't. Like I don't even have a Boston accent really. I don't know. I just feel like it was a lot of overacting at a lot of parts. I thought Michelle Williams crushed it. I thought she had she sounded like a North Shore girl. Like that's what she sounded like to me. I was like, yep, I know a lot of people that sound exactly like this. It was just it was mostly a lot of the young actors that just like it sounded like they were trying real hard. I don't know why they just didn't get, especially for some of the ancillary characters like his friends and like other stuff like that. Maybe they did just get kids that are from here. I have no idea. I didn't look into that. But I feel like if they didn't, they maybe should have just fucking hired kids that live here because they didn't have a lot of speaking roles.
And I feel like they probably did, and they probably asked them to play it up.
I mean, that's also possible. I think that's the case. I think it like ultimately is they're probably playing it up. Unfortunately, I don't know. But we kind of jumped into nothingness off the bat, so let's pull it back a little bit and go more of a overall. How'd you feel with the movie, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it was fine, I guess. You know, considering the way the plot actually played out and the fact that it takes place here, it really just felt like, and I don't know if this is good or bad, I didn't feel like I was watching a movie. I just felt like I was following these guys around who happen to live around here.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, why did I watch this movie? I could have just gone to Manchester and made friends with somebody. I would have hung out with some, emotionally repressed white dude just hanging around. I could do that.
It really is a lot of mundane things in the movie. Like there are a lot of those scenes in the film.
Yeah. I think it's a lot more it's a lot more not necessarily interesting, but it seems a lot more exotic if you're not from around here.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess that's true.
I don't know. Exotic's not a good word either, but if I'm watching a movie about Texas and I see cowboys or something, I'm like, yeah, that's a bad example, but you get the idea. I'm like, ooh, cowboys. And an actual Texan might be like, yeah, whatever. This is just a Tuesday for me.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So for me, watching, Casey Affleck kind of mope around Manchester, you did a good job.
I did like that. This is like a random thing too, and this is like a random thing for like people that live here, people from outside of here. I don't think this line of dialogue would mean anything, but at one point, like, because multiple times they're having conversations about like, oh, I need to go back to Boston. I need to work in Boston. Yeah. That's where my apartment is. Like, you have to come with me to Boston. All this stuff, blah blah blah. And what the fuck is the kid's name?
Patrick.
Patrick. Yeah. Patrick's like, What do you mean? What do you got in Quincy that's so good? You got to go back to Quincy, whatever. And I'm like, it's funny to me that like Casey Affleck's Lee is like calling it Boston, but like it's not Boston. Yeah. But like that's kind of just how, like, if someone asks where I'm from, now I say Salem because I feel like Salem is like a notable place in Massachusetts. But prior to that, like when I grew up in Chelsea or was living in Peabody or wherever I was living, I would just say, oh, I'm from Boston because it's just easier to say that.
20 minutes north of Boston.
So it's just funny to like, I don't know. Because again, I think that dialogue doesn't mean anything to people outside of Massachusetts, but it's like when he said that, Jen was like, he's not even fucking in Boston. He's in Quincy. I'm like, that dialogue was meant for people like us, not for anyone else.
Yeah.
What about you, Todd? Because you've seen this movie and you rewatched it again. Where are you at with this film right now?
It was weird. I watched it last night till like 2 a.m. And man, it put me in a dark place actually last night. It was kind of fucked up, but I was really into the movie itself too. But the whole scene with when his brother dies and he goes and sees him, and you don't think about those things because we never really had to deal with them. But I'm starting to get to the age where I'm going to be in that position, and I have to start dealing with like death and shit like that, whether it's like my parents or something like that. And I was like, oh dear God, this movie's not I don't want to do any of this kind of stuff. I'm like, dear God, you think, because like we never think about this stuff, like maybe a grandparent dies or you have a friend that dies possibly, but like sitting in that like 2.5 hour window of just like death, his kids, his fucking his brother. I'm just like, oh God, this is stuff you like don't want to deal with or think about. But yeah, it's we go on day by day, living our lives, and then all of a sudden something like this happens, and I'm just like, oh God. Especially with kids too, it gets me every time. I don't even want to like think about it.
Yeah, and that's like when you had said that this movie was gonna wreck me. I'm like, halfway through the movie, I'm like, yeah, it's heavy, it's emotional. Like his brother situation is like, that stuff was kind of catching me up a little bit. But then once it got to his kids, now I'm like, okay, this is why Todd fucking said this movie is gonna punch me in the gut. But like, it didn't hit me as hard as I expected it to. But maybe it's just because I kept thinking like, this movie's supposed to make me sad. Why isn't it making me sad?
So like that's the scene where I was talking about when they're talking outside, him and Michelle Williams.
I think that's the best acting scene in the movie.
Yeah, and when he's just like, like no, like he's just like a shell of himself, and he can't like break out. And like I don't think I'd ever. I'm like I don't think I'd be any different. I feel like I'd be the same fucking person. I'd be fucking.
When he was in the police station, like they were asking questions.
I get
literally, I was sitting watching the scene. I was sitting watching the scene. I was like, I don't even know if I would have made it in there. I probably would have killed myself by now. And he literally walks out and grabs the gun. I was like, there it is. Like,
when that scene had happened, like when he'd finished talking to them, I was scrolling my phone, looking at something else. When I looked back up again, they were like pinning him down. I'm like, okay, I missed something very important.
Did you rewind it?
I rewound it because I'm like, I'm pretty sure he must have grabbed a gun, but I was just curious as to how he pulled it off.
Yeah. I mean, like, especially once you get to like the back third of this, or I guess like the last third of this movie, the last quarter of this movie, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't need the movie to have a happy resolution. I don't need the movie to like there was a spark at one point. I was like, oh, okay, maybe, because again, like a lot of this movie has no Michelle Williams. I'm like, okay, maybe like part of this character's like how he's gonna heal himself, or how he's gonna get healed, or like find a path out of this terrible trauma, this terrible shit that's happened to him, is him and Michelle Williams reconnect, and like that's the thing for it. But then it was like, no, she is married and is having another kid, and like she still carries all of that pain and weight, but like has found some way to be like, I need to grab onto something else to pull me forward, or I'm gonna also like do what he's doing, what Lee's doing. So
to be fair, Lee also found something to grab onto and move forward. It's just not happy.
You mean like just work?
Yeah. It's just work.
Yeah, but like, I don't even think
that's his moving forward.
I don't even. But
I don't
even think that's him making him happy though.
Die.
I think it's
like you just can't die.
Yeah.
And like you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
I think it's less of him like moving him forward. I don't know. I feel like the part of the reason why he didn't want to stay up in, because like, listen, his brother dies, it's fucking terrible, but his brother clearly like was like, I need to make sure someone's taking care of my brother, and obviously someone's going to take care of my son. So he's like sets up, money for him on the side, like all these things to like help Lee, knowing that at some point he's going to die because he has a heart disease. But Lee doesn't want. Oh, go ahead.
I think that was to help Lee. I think that was just he knew that Lee was the best person for the kid.
No, I know that, but I'm saying like his brother seemed to be like someone who was very like he was very like meticulous, and it seemed like he was like, I'm going to make sure, because part of the thing when he's meeting, I don't know what that person's job is that's like going over the trustee shit or whatever. Yeah, he was like, no, your brother has it set so you can pull this amount of money every week or every month for himself, to be like, you're gonna live up here now, or you're gonna like stay up here and take care of my kid, whatever. But like even with that's like taking the weight of having to really work for at least an interim period for Lee, and he's like, no, I don't want to fucking be up here, because up here means I have to see Randy, which what is that nickname short for? They ever say Michelle Williams' full name? His character's full name?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
It means he's gonna see Michelle Williams' character Randy. It means he's gonna constantly be reminded of his kid's death. It means he's gonna be reminded of his brother's death all the time. it seems like everyone in that town has some sort of story in their head about him. So he's like, he wants to escape there. He doesn't want to be there. And being in Boston, Quincy is like far enough where he doesn't have to seemingly deal with that stuff. Because I think there's a scene.
Should have gone to Worcester.
There's a scene earlier in the movie where he's at the bar. Two guys are looking across the bar, and he goes around the bar, and he's like, "Oh, do you know me? Well, you're looking at me like you know me. Do you know me?" And then he gets into a fight with them. And obviously, early in the movie, you don't know why that's happening, and I don't think it's ever really supposed to be clear of why he did that. But now after the movie, I take it as he was escaping people that knew him or knew what they thought they knew him or knew his life or his circumstance, his brother, his kids, all that stuff.
Where was that? Was that when he was already on the North Shore, or was that when he was still in Quincy?
I think he was still in Quincy, but maybe I'm wrong. But either way, they were strangers, but he was taking... Yeah. I took that scene later into the movie as, oh, he fought with those guys, A, because he's very fucking emotionally fucked up, but also because I think he thought those dudes were like judging his life, judging who he was, what he's been through, whatever. Anyways, Dom, what did you think of this movie overall?
I mean, I thought it was like, yeah, like it also put me in a dark place. Like, I thought most of the acting was like great. I didn't have that experience with the Boston accents besides a couple times with the kids. By the way, I looked it up. Sylvie is from Andover.
Okay.
And one of the friends on the hockey team is a Wahlberg. So
that makes sense. That's a Wahlberg accent.
I got a Wahlberg in the credits. I was like, I wonder if he's related to them.
Yeah, but like he's a nephew.
But that
Mark's nephew.
That checks out because I feel like the Wahlbergs are good at playing up a Boston accent.
Yeah, I mean,
they definitely have.
It says the kid is from here, like didn't move away, but
they definitely do have Boston accents, but they definitely play it up for television stuff. Like they have thick ones, but like because like one of the which is the one that was in New Kids on the Block, Donnie has a show on HGTV that Jen watches. It's like some like he restores farmhouses in Massachusetts or like in New England.
Yeah, keeping up the Wahlburgers.
No, it's not right. That. But like he has a very thick Boston accent, but it's like, it's a thick Boston accent, but he's just talking. He's just, he's just the person talking.
I'm talking here.
Yeah. I don't know. But it's like the same thing. I'm sure for, people in New York, there are plenty of movies and TV shows that like, play up a fucking Italian accent or whatever.
Yeah, like the Mario Brothers and fucking.
Yeah. Yeah,
Luigi.
That's it right there.
But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. Yeah. Like I thought it was a good movie. It was like it like had points where it felt like it was dragging, but I don't think it was because of the movie itself. I think it was like the subject matter was like, Jesus, this movie isn't over yet. Like Like I need to move on with the movie because like I can't be in this spot anymore.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I feel like the movie. I don't think the movie was boring. It was like 2 hours and 17 minutes or something, and it was just 2 hours and 17 minutes of like, here is a group of people that have some shitty shit handed to them. Yeah. Some by their own doing, some because that's just life, some because whatever, and it's like. There really isn't going to be a happy resolution to this movie, which it doesn't need to be, but like knowing that you're kind of moving towards that of just here's a kind of not really happy situation that you have to watch for 2 hours. It can be a lot at times.
That's a New England experience, people.
It is. But no one in this movie gets what they want. Welcome to New England.
Yes, that's our slogan.
Our slogan is wait until the cemetery thaws in the spring.
Yeah, move to Minnetonka.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's my biggest complaint is especially because the little experience I had with knowing what this movie was about and or the marketing behind it, you would think that Michelle Williams was in the movie more.
Believe me, I was upset that Matthew Broderick was there for all of 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I did
5 minutes was
when he came on the
Matthew
screen. I was like, "What the
2
fuck
minutes.
is he doing here?" Did you know he was in the movie?
His other movies.
To be fair, when I brought up Matthew Broderick being in this movie, Todd was like, "Matthew Broderick's in this movie," and Todd had already seen the movie. So,
Yeah, right,
what
that's true.
do we think the deal is with them? I'm assuming that she's still like some sort of addict, and like religion is like their weird way to like deal with
Religion's
it.
definitely
yeah, she's a born again Christian,
And that guy's like controlling her basically. It was very bizarre.
I don't know if it's controlling, but clearly she was not as ready to handle her son coming back into her life. And
my guess is that she like wanted to turn back to the vices when she's like was around him, and so Matthew Broderick was like, "Yeah, like talk to me first, because like we need to do this a different way."
Yeah, this movie, I don't know if it does a good job of showing this, but it definitely shows that like I don't know if this is maybe it's just a widespread thing, but a lot of especially Lee's character is like, wow, guys really don't know how to express emotion or deal with emotion in healthy, positive ways, because he can't even like console his nephew in a lot of situations. And like when he drops him off in his mom's house, he's like, all right, and he like puts his arm, like not a real hug, I don't know what it was.
I don't know. That was literally my experience growing up.
I mean, same.
Right,
so
same.
it's like I get it. It's just again, it
Fucking
could just be a Massachusetts thing, or it could be
Maybe.
more of a widespread thing. But damn, maybe therapy. I don't know.
Massachusetts, we need therapy.
We need therapy. There were two scenes in particular that I thought really captured some specific type of like very granular moment that I appreciated and also fucking hated at the same time, because it gave me anxiety whiplash. So when I think it's like the first night or whatever that he stays at their house, he's up in the morning, he's at the kitchen table, cup of coffee, calling the fucking funeral parlor, and it's like the funeral parlor, like, okay, all right, yep, give me another person, let me repeat everything again, all right, like ridiculousness. And then the girl comes down and she's like making all this noise in the kitchen. Or not,
he doesn't need to hear this.
Yeah,
that was my favorite part. He doesn't need to hear this. Yeah, you fucking came down here.
Yeah, but even before, like everything about that scene was very like, I thought very well constructed. But like everything about that scene, like all the little noise, I was like, if I was the person on this phone right now, I would fucking lose my mind that like they're coming in here and like slamming cabinets and like fucking making all this noise and like acting like I'm not on the phone in here first having an important fucking conversation, and you're just like, I'm gonna eat my yogurt, my cereal, like get the fuck out of here.
Listen, that made sense to me. At the same time, like, he is in the kitchen. It's not like he couldn't have moved already. As soon as they started making noise, like, this is a house. If they're gonna be eating food, I can move to a different location.
But they were, I mean, besides the point that they were acting like he wasn't on the phone, it was more of just like that. I think that scene was like showing what Lee is going through and how it hasn't affected the kid. Well, like at least visually, it hasn't affected him, like outwardly.
What time would you say a funeral home opens?
Probably early. I would imagine they're open early, especially if they're gonna like prepare bodies. I don't fucking know. Oh, that's true. Yeah, it could have been like at noon. That's probably like noon. I think
they're open 24 hours a day.
It wasn't, because he then brought those kids to school.
Oh, weird. They're probably open early though, because they're like embalming bodies and stuff. Like they
probably do like funerals like early. I think funerals are like around like 9, so like they're probably there at like 6 or something.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that was just a weird thing that I just thought of, because when you had brought up like her making breakfast, I was like, oh yeah, then they went to school. Like, what time was he calling the funeral home?
He was trying to get a jump on things. He was trying to get things in order.
And then the other scene, oddly enough, was tied to funeral stuff. When they had the funeral and then we're back at the house, like there was not a lot of dialogue in that scene. It was a lot of the camera just kind of like cutting around the room.
Oh, there was not a lot of dialogue. Did you happen to have subtitles on?
I watch everything with subtitles. I did not have subtitles on.
Me and Mike will tell you about the fantastic subtitling job for this film. But go ahead and with your story.
Wait, you like subtitles on?
So for two reasons. One, I do pretty much watch everything with subtitles now, because I will tell you this. I think a lot of things lately, and especially in the past few years, have terrible audio mixing. Where it's like I'll have it turn really loud, and it's like the fucking movie sound effects are super loud, but the dialogue is super quiet, and it's like everything's fucking terrible. So, and I don't know if it's like the movie or TV show itself, or maybe it's my TV settings or whatever it may be. I just feel like more often than not, the sound mixing is fucking awful, and I have to like combat that by like I don't want to miss something, so I'm just gonna have fucking subtitles on. But also, MG messes with Jen's eyes all the time, so we usually have to have subtitles on, or in her hearing, like it messes up with everything. So
I feel like I end up like not looking at the screen and then staring at the subtitles, and then I'm like fuck, and I'm like going back and forth.
No, I mean it's actually made me like get better about being able to like glance at subtitles and not feel distracted.
Yeah.
But so like that whole scene is like a lot of just cutting around the room and like very crowded and cramped, and I'm just like, oh, this is exactly what it's like being like after this scenario where it's like you know there are people there that you know are further removed from the person that's passed away, so it's like not as heavy for them. There are people that you know are closer that are just choosing to like kind of get into the mix to like get out of that headspace. But then you see Lee, and Lee like clearly is like fucking swimming, doesn't want to fucking be there. He's been swimming the whole movie. And then like the fucking buddy's name, I forget what the buddy's character's name is.
I do too. He's great.
George,
though.
yeah.
George.
He like the scene with him, and he's like, "You gotta eat something, buddy. Will you have any food? Oh, geez, oh, you gotta eat something." And he's like yelling across to his wife, whoever the lady was. I don't know who that lady was. Was his wife? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And they're just having like a across the room yelling match. I can't hear you. He needs food. No, he doesn't want any food. He's good, but I can't hear you either. It's just like I don't know. It was a good fucking. It was like a captured kind of being in that room pretty well, and I again like gave me anxiety for being in that space. In my own
I think even the scene before in the church showing the like the dichotomy of like Lee's experience with it all versus Patrick's experience with it all, where like Patrick, everyone was coming up to him and hugging him, and he was like, "Oh, thank you for coming." Like, and Lee was like, "I don't want to fucking see anybody. I don't want to be here." Like, it was showing like they were having very different experiences. With this.
I relate to Lee so much with like everything in this movie and how he handled it, and like it's.
Yeah, I also like I think that is especially being on the like being the person that has to obviously for the person in the line taking the handshakes and hugs is shitty because someone you know died, but that fucking part of a funeral for me is like I fucking hate that shit. It's so fucking bad.
I also thought it was weird that Patrick's friends were up there as part of like the receiving line, but I mean that was just a nitpicky thing.
Yeah.
So anyways, during the funeral, what was the first thing that popped up, Mike?
Hold on. I have a picture right here. It says dialogue ? Soundtrack music ?
Yeah, one of the points where like there was like just music playing and like nothing was happening. The subtitles essentially were like, "There's like no talking." So it literally said dialogue ?
Huh.
And then later in that same scene, another subtitle in parentheses popped up, and it was like still no dialogue. That's all it said. Still no dialogue.
Weird.
And then later they're at George's house, and they're all just sitting around the table, and like no one's talking. And in parentheses it says, "It seems there should be dialogue here."
That's weird. I wonder if that's like a thing that Amazon does. Like I don't know how some of this stuff gets generated sometimes, if it's just like automatic
my guess is
machine
that
or something.
Depending on how they do it, because I feel like sometimes it might be an actual service, and then sometimes I think they might pull out something not necessarily sketchy, but like they kind of pay people off the cuff, like to just do like little tasks to subtitle things.
Yeah.
And I think it might be a case of either, they did it, but the way it goes through like a workflow, maybe someone like looked it over and was like, it seems like there should be something here. Maybe there's something wrong with my setup, and they expect someone else to like
fix it,
go back and fix that. Yeah.
Go back and fix it.
Yeah, it almost seemed like notes versus like.
Yeah.
It seemed like somebody had like done the subtitles, and that was like their notes, and they were like, all right, like when you go through this, like it seems like there should be something here, but I'm not getting it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I mean,
but it looks like snarky comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, it literally just looks like
that's funny.
like whoever did the subtitles is being like a dick. Like
I don't
still
think
no dialogue.
I don't think I've ever seen something like that. But like again, we usually have subtitles on for everything, and I feel like a lot of the times the subtitles are very wrong. Like I just watched all of season 3 of I Think You Should Leave, and I don't think I noticed anything that was like not what they said, but often it was not actually what they said. It would be like they would say something, like they would say a full sentence, and the captions would still get the same point across, but it would not actually be what they said. It would not be the full sentence of what they said. And I'm just like, I feel like that's not, especially for something that's like comedy. Like maybe you're missing the fucking point with changing that flow.
I wonder if in that specific instance it might be a case of, and this is me taking a guess, is that maybe they were sent a script to use for the thing.
Oh,
like the actual shot was different than what the script.
That's possible. Yeah.
Initially detailed.
So yeah, I think we're getting close to that point. It's getting a little late. It's 8:30 for Mike. But anything else anyone wants to talk about in regards to this film?
I thought Kyle Chandler was really good in it, and I'm not like.
Yeah, he was. In the very little that he was in.
Yeah,
who's
stuff
that?
he was in
That
good
is.
though. He's the brother. Like in the flashback stuff.
Yeah. I think he was good too. I will say I did like the flow of the movie. Like I liked how it was like kind of cutting around timeline wise. I thought it worked really well.
I thought it was pretty interesting because like halfway through the movie, we still didn't know what Lee's deal was, like why he was so depressed, why everyone like looked down on him. Like at one point, the lady's like, "I literally never want to see that man in here ever again."
Yes.
And I was like, "What the fuck did he do?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Did he fucking?" At one point, I was like, "Did he fucking shoot his family?" Because we never saw Randy again either, and I'm wondering if that's why Randy wasn't as much in that first half of the movie.
Yeah.
Because like it's almost like up in the air still. Like, what is Lee's deal?
Yeah.
Like in the beginning of the film, when he picks him up from hockey practice, and the kids were talking, and they're like, "Oh, that's
yeah, you know, he didn't really do it, right?"
Yeah.
I think that's what they say. Yeah,
something like that. They insinuated that whatever story's going around made it sound like he did something terrible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My guess is the rumors is that like he intentionally tried to kill his family.
Yeah.
Like, that's I would assume that's why people don't like him.
Yeah. But like it does a good job at like what did this guy do? Like why doesn't anybody want him here? Like why is everybody treating him with like kids gloves? Like I thought it was like a good way of doing that. Like it was structured really well to like keep you like not guessing, but like not letting it be like a comfort of like, oh yeah, I know what Lee did and like that's how I'm gonna treat this character.
Yeah.
Like it almost like puts you in the perspective of the public like looking at him.
Jen did bring it up every time it happened, because it happened like probably 3 or 4 times in the movie. They were like, wow, they're really just making every female character fall in love with Lee. Like the movie opens with like one of the tenants, he's like unclogging her toilet and she's on the phone and he's like, I fucking love Virginia, he's so hot. Then like girl in the bar, then fucking his girlfriend's mom, like everyone.
There's also like, for everyone that like falls in love with him, there's also that many that are like want absolutely nothing to do with him and like hate his fucking guts.
That's true.
Like the girl in the fishing shop, and then like the other one that is like, are you trying to get me naked in the shower right now? I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that one, he handled it pretty well. I don't know how it was just like, lady, how dumb are you? You don't need to stay in the shower when I turn it on. What are you talking about? If you want to get naked, that's on you.
I also thought it was interesting that this movie was like essentially a reunion for like 90s, 2000s, like not soap TV shows, but like teen dramas. Kyle Chandler was OC, right?
I thought he was
on One Tree Hill.
He was on
Friday Night
Lights.
Lights.
Yeah.
Tate Donovan is in OC or One Tree Hill. Michelle Williams is in Dawson's Creek.
Baby. Yeah. This is like older, more depressing Dawson's Creek.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It was really cool being from like Beverly though, and seeing a lot of the spots, and like I knew there was so many times I was like, oh fuck, you know, like I didn't appreciate this last time I watched it because I was like, I was late at night, had the headphones on, and I was like, there's so many good, but like you said, that shot of like where the cemetery is, like we used to longboard in that cemetery, and that like
Yeah.
that whole strip. It's right there. It's near Lynch Park.
Yeah, no, I know exactly where it is. We drive by there a
Yeah.
lot because if we go, like, there's a lot of places we will like drive to that we go that way, and like I did appreciate that. Like there were a lot of times where like when he was driving up to Manchester, that they were driving on that like 2-lane part of 95 or 128 or whatever. Like I think for. And again, this is only like exclusive to people in Massachusetts, and it's even more exclusive to people that actually fucking care. But I hate when I watch a movie that's, you know, quote unquote here, but you can tell that it's not fucking filmed here. Which like it shouldn't really matter, but I definitely appreciate more like pointing out like, oh, that is a real place, and I'm familiar with these locations. They are real. They're actually filming this movie here, which is, you know,
like the woods outside of Boston in The Last of Us.
Yeah.
After watching this too, I want to watch the movie about the Death family.
Coda.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I did. Have you guys watched it or no?
I've never seen it. No.
Oh,
that's Gloucester.
It's Gloucester.
It's Beverly too. They did Henry's Market's like a part of the movie.
It's all
like,
filmed here, and a lot of the people in that movie I think are from here, and it's that movie is really good. I actually wanted to pick it at one point. Maybe I'll pick it. I'll watch it again. But it's funny you brought up Coda because I was going to bring up Coda, and then we need to probably wrap things up for Mike. There is a
what
fight.
time's the show?
9:15. Where is it?
Danvers.
Yeah, but still, you need fucking time.
I need them to drive there yet.
So there is a scene in Coda, and I won't spoil anything about it, but there's a scene in Manchester by the Sea where he towards the end of the film, I think, he gets into a fight in a bar. Not the early scene, the later scene.
And then I honestly, when that scene started, I'm like, maybe he's learned from this, because he apologized for the guy when he bumped into. It's like, oh, okay, he's growing up, and then he just threw a punch.
I think that's Jacob's Corner in Beverly, or whatever it's called.
I don't know what that bar is, but I can only assume that there must be some reason why they did this, because I can't imagine, like, it's not like Manchester by the Sea wasn't a movie that, like, it was an Oscar nominated and winning movie. Like, it's not a movie that people don't know about. It was also filmed here. Coda also filmed here, also nominated. I don't know if it won stuff. I think it did win stuff actually, but you know, also Oscar, so people had seen this film. They have a fight scene in Coda in the same fucking bar.
Oh,
the exact same bar.
Corner, then.
So I'm assuming that bar maybe has like a reputation for like being like a bar fight place.
It's just a dive bar. It's like on the corner in downtown Cabot, I want to say, around that area. But like, yeah, it's just a.
Oh, you think that bar is in Beverly?
Yes, it is. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I think that bar is in. I think the bar is in. I thought that bar was in Rockport. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe, but because I know there's that bar in Beverly that they filmed. I thought they filmed Manchester at Sea at. They changed the whole bar around for the movie, basically. They also filmed in Ipswich.
Well, I don't know how much of that bar they changed around because it's the same fucking bar, and I noticed it.
It's also the one that you're talking about, Todd, is also the one that they used in the Tender Bar.
Tender Bar. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah.
Well, that's the same. It is the same bar in Coda because they have a similar shot, and I recognize like decor and stuff, and I was like, wait, have I seen this movie? And then after the scene played out, I was like, wait, no, this was in fucking Coda. And then I looked up the scene in Coda to double check if I was like losing my mind or not. And no, they did do a fight scene for some reason in the same bar. So I wonder if that maybe just for locals, that's like, oh, people always getting in bar fights down there. So like maybe that's why. Because again, that's a weird thing that most people are not going to notice or care about. But it didn't like diminish that scene for me. I was just like, I wonder why they did that. Okay.
It's just got a nice spot. It's a nice spot for brawling.
So I think that'll wrap up our conversation on Manchester by the Sea. If everyone else has anything else to say about that, or
nope.
Okay. So that'll bring us to the end of the film chat, but that will bring us to the movie game. But before we get into the movie game, of course, you can support us in a bunch of different ways, but the best way to do that, the freest way to do that, and the thing that helps us out, one of the biggest ways it helps us out is reviewing us on your podcast app of choice, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to the show. Leave us a review, subscribe to us. Those things really, really help us. Those 5-star reviews help push us out to other people and help us get discovered by new listeners. So we really appreciate it if you take a chance to leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to the show. If you listen to us on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing over there, leaving a comment, liking us, all those things. Lovely engagement helps us grow on the YouTube side of things as well. If you have some money kicking around, you want to help support the show, you can do that by going to passthecontroller.threadless.com, getting some sick swag, by going to patreon.com/passthecontroller and becoming a patron, by subscribing, by becoming a subscriber on Twitch. I don't know why I stumbled with that sentence. Twitch.tv/passcontroller and subscribing to the show there. And I knew there was something else housekeeping, and I'll mention it now. I should have mentioned it at the beginning of the show. Next Saturday, I'll be doing 12-hour live stream for MG, so you can tune in at twitch.tv/passcontroller and watch me.
Doing some Street Fighter tournaments?
Oh, we'll be doing some stuff. So if you're not going to be at Summer Games Fest, you should enjoy Summer Games Fest at home with me on Saturday, June 10th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be a good time. There'll be a lot of incentives. Maybe some of these clowns will come by. You never know. We'll see. So make sure you put that on your calendar and send some time. If you can't make it, that's fine. But sharing the show, that stream, helps get more people in there. You can donate now. You can already start donating. You don't have to wait to donate to that thing. There's a link to the team page all over the place, so you can find that and do that. But without further ado,
Fibber McGee's is the bar from the beginning of the movie. Pratty's is the bar from the end of the movie. Fibber McGee's is Beverly. Pratty's is Foster.
Fibber McGee's, I have been to.
That's a townie bar. That used to be a townie bar.
I think it still is. I think it is. I know, like, well, anyways, I've been there before. Okay, Mike, what is your actual? You want to get up and walk away from the camera?
I would like. I think 9:00 is a safe time for me to drive over.
Wild.
Like my
That's wild.
That is kind of wild. All right. Well, let's.
Well, I will say this.
Okay.
Trailers, like last time we saw a movie, it was 20 minutes before.
That is true. When I saw,
he just saw a movie, so he's seen all the trailers.
And we already know all the trailers now because of the internet, so it's like not even fun anymore to get there early. But yeah.
So the only thing I'm gonna do there is like grab a drink and then go to my seat. Provided I'm cutting to my own time, but I'm still upset when I went to go see Creed 3.
Somebody sitting in your seat.
Someone was sitting in my seat.
And
like,
you didn't.
Oh, that's the worst. I'm not cool with that.
Well, it worked out because it wasn't a packed theater, so I literally sat maybe a seat to the left, and no one ever came in the rest of that row, so I could have moved around, whatever.
Should have sat right next to them.
I should have, but like, I know what you did.
Like, we should have just went to Cinema Salem. Like, we could walk over there. You're going to the 915 Dolby Cinema?
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of you.
Oh my god, I'm looking right now. There are
sold out.
No, it's not sold out yet. But almost the entire front row is open, and then a few seats in the row behind that.
Okay.
So I was like, if it was not full, I would debate fucking going to, but I'm not sitting in that.
Did you see the ongoing joke for Oppenheimer that like someone picked a seat?
That
in the
one
front
seat
row?
in the middle. Yeah.
So good.
All right.
Someone's like, we got to document
I'm gonna try to go
now.
tomorrow, Mike. So I'll text you after I see it. I think I'm gonna try to go tomorrow.
Damn.
I wish I could take the kids. I can't do 2.5 hours with the kids.
Long. If you like it enough, Mike, and you want to see it twice, I might, depending on the show times tomorrow, I might go to Cinema Salem. So,
all right.
But that brings us to the video game leaderboard for 2023. Of course, because it's a movie episode, we're going to do movies instead of video games tonight. The leaderboard for the year so far. Todd, should have joined last week. You should have joined last week because Dom swept in and took first place again with 26. Todd is at second place with 25. Mike's been sitting at a 19 for a couple weeks now. Mike, we're gonna get some.
No, you got a point last week.
Did I?
Did I?
I don't think.
I don't think I swept.
You sure about that?
You sure about that? So we get a couple of guest points on the board.
I don't think I slept last week.
But no guests on the podcast tonight, so we don't need to go over that. Jesse's leading that board right now. Either way, we're into it right now with movie number 1. The way this works, I'm going to list off random facts about a movie, and from those clues, whoever can discern what movie it is the quickest will get the point. Movie number 1. This 2002 rated R film clocks in at 2 hours and 47 minutes.
A long one. 2002, yeah. You said rated R?
Correct. Why is this movie? Okay.
Is it Saving Private Ryan?
Incorrect. This movie has 135 award nominations and 50 wins, including a nomination for Best Picture at the Oscars, a nomination for Best Actor in a Leading Role at the Oscars, a nomination.
Is it the Thin Red Line?
Incorrect. Nomination for Best Director at the Oscars, a nomination for Best Writing Original Screenplay at the Oscars. These are all Oscars. Best Cinematography nominee, Best Art Direction. Incorrect. Best Art Direction.
2002?
Wait.
2003. This is 2003.
94.
This is 2003. You're all saying the wrong date. It is 2003.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't matter. It's still not.
No, I know that, but I want to just correct out
I'm just
front that
thinking
it's
of long
2003.
movies. I'm like,
Okay.
fair enough.
Also nominated for Best Costume Design, Best Film Editing, Best Sound, and Best Music Original Song. So a bunch of Oscar noms, no Oscar wins.
Oh really?
Is it Fellowship of the Ring?
Incorrect. It did win a BAFTA. It had some other nominees, but it did win a BAFTA for Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role.
Oh, I forgot about that too.
It did win it did get nominated twice for Grammys for Best Compilation Soundtrack Album for a Motion Picture and Best Song Written for a Motion Picture.
2003.
Is it Pearl Harbor?
Incorrect.
Ooh.
Is it Ray?
I
Incorrect.
forget what year Pearl Harbor was. It was like the late 90s, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, 98.
Sounds right.
Let me pull up some more facts. I thought someone would have swooped in by now.
Yeah, it does feel like something that we should.
Is it Armageddon?
Incorrect.
A movie that's nearly 3 hours long, 2002,
yeah.
should be.
Yeah.
I keep on getting R-rated.
Yeah.
You may recognize there is at least one actor
fucking MCU
that is in the MCU.
Just one?
I believe just one.
2003.
That was a 2002 movie. I could have sworn that
It
was
is 2002.
All the awards are 2003.
Yes.
All the awards.
Yes.
Okay.
2002 film. Sorry for the confusion.
Yes, it was confusing.
You may recognize one of the. So in the top billed cast, you may recognize one of these actresses.
Is it Gangs of New York?
It is indeed Gangs of New York. Todd takes the first point.
Go.
Tying the scoreboard up at 26 apiece. We'll move on to movie number 2.
I had to start thinking of like R-rated movies that were long, and it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like there weren't a lot. I feel like they were like now, like the fucking thing is that every movie is like almost 3 hours.
Who's
long.
the MCU actor in it?
John C. Reilly.
I was thinking.
Okay. I was gonna say I was waiting for you to say somebody other than John C. Reilly, and I was gonna be like, John C. Reilly was also in that movie.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't think. I was looking at that cast. I was like, I don't think any of these people show up.
I was thinking Liam Neeson, but then I'm thinking of fucking that's
Dark Knight.
Nolan's Batman. Yeah.
All right. This could potentially be Devil Horns as number 2. I apologize. We'll see. We'll see where how this one goes. Will tell how the third one will go. This 2012 PG film with we're clocking in at an hour and 32 minutes.
Ooh.
Has 46 award nominations and 19 wins, including one Oscar nomination for Best Animated Feature.
2012.
Is it Moana?
2012? Moana's that old?
I don't know. I'm old. Everything blends together at this point. That's probably 2018. No.
Oh.
No, 2016, 2015, maybe.
Well,
You
Google it.
may recognize. Wait. Oh, the rare. This might be a rare no MCU cast. Because at this point, it doesn't matter if I'm not even trying to. There's just always a fucking MCU actor in it. Cam in the chat, incorrect.
B12.
You may recognize. Who's the top build? We'll go with Cam in the chat says incorrect answer.
Oh, what?
I mean, do you want me to say Cam's incorrect answer aloud? I can do that.
Sorry. I didn't realize he was guessing. No.
2012. Toy Story 3?
Incorrect. You may recognize one of the top billed actresses from such movies as Trolls.
Can I guess? Oh, Trolls. I was
Is
going
it
to say
Ratatouille?
Inside Out.
It's not Ratatouille. What did you say, Mike?
I said Inside Out.
Incorrect. You may recognize this top billed actress from such movies as Up in the Air.
And it's not Trolls?
You may recognize this person from Trolls.
Didn't you just say Trolls, though? What did you just say about
why
Trolls?
would it be Trolls if I said Trolls? What is happening right now?
Because I feel like the actress you just said is like a main character in Trolls.
Okay, and they're a main character in this film. I don't. What is happening right now?
Todd's blazed out of his mind.
You may recognize.
Soon.
Cam is on the right track. You may recognize this actress from Into the Woods.
Into the Woods.
All right, we're gonna move on to another top-billed actor from this film. You may recognize this.
Is it Tangled?
Incorrect. You may recognize this actor from Trolls.
I don't even know who's in Trolls now at this point.
You may recognize this actor from the Kick-Ass films. You may recognize them from How to Train Your Dragon 2. I don't know if they're How to Train Your Dragon 1. You may recognize this actor from Superbad.
Huh.
Okay.
I've got the actor.
A better guess at who the actor is.
Did you say this movie was rated again?
PG. It is an animated film from 2012 with 1 Oscar nomination and 45 other nominations.
Oscar nominations. I forgot about that.
You may recognize the top billed actor from such films as X-Men Apocalypse.
From what?
X-Men Apocalypse. I'm scrolling to see this person is not in Trolls. That would have been really good if they were all in Trolls.
What was the Oscar nomination again?
Animated film.
Best animated film?
Yes.
Okay.
You may recognize the top billed actor from The Road.
What's that?
Or, I don't know what this actor is known for. Or Slow West. Or Let Me In. This actor has 58 award nominations in total, 38 wins, and 1 Oscar nomination. Ooh. All right, this is definitely devil horns, I guess.
You said X-Men Apocalypse, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
12.
Let's see. This film was written and directed by the same no, they worked on a different part of the film, but they have worked on other films for some writing and some other things, such as Coraline and The Missing Link.
Box Trolls?
Incorrect. And Kubo and the Two Strings.
The fantastic Mr. Fox. I forget what the actor.
Incorrect.
Paranorman?
It is indeed Paranorman.
I was just going to go through the rest of that studio's movies.
Yeah. I thought this was like a well-known film.
I've never even heard of it.
I've heard of it. I never saw it.
I never saw it. I also didn't know. I don't know who the cast of that film is.
Yeah,
the
we
top
know
build,
it's Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and
the top build 3 were him, Anna Kendrick, and Cody Smith McPhee.
I don't know who
I've
that
heard that
big
name
girl,
before, but I don't know who they are.
Oh, that's not. Oh, Cody Smith McPhee is. He was in that new movie, The Western, that won an Academy Award for something like 2 years ago. The Netflix movie.
Cam said, I searched 2012 animated movies and Paranorman did not come up. What the fuck? I don't know.
I get to see what it looks like. I don't even know.
The Cody Smith McPhee looks like Paranorman. So,
final film for the evening, and then Mike needs to get the fuck out of here. Wait, who got that?
He was in Dolomite is my name.
I gave the point to Dom. I get the
point.
I've
never seen the picture of that ever.
It's Nightcrawler, by the way.
Nightcrawler was the okay.
So that'll bring us to the final film, which we'll see. Maybe this is also Devil Horns. I don't know. This 2010 rated R film clocks in at 1 hour and 52 minutes.
Okay.
It is nominated for 56 awards, including 1 Oscar nomination. It has 9 other award wins.
2010 rated R?
Yes.
2010, okay.
The Oscar nomination was for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role.
Is the movie $1 Million Baby?
Incorrect. Cam, you're also incorrect in the chat. You may recognize... where can I go with this?
Probably won't.
Let's start with the third billed actor. You may recognize the third billed actor from such things as The Wire, or The Affair, or The Trial of the Chicago 7, or Borgia.
Oh, that is.
There's what's the name of that movie that I want to say? You can keep going. Something Junction.
Petticoat Junction.
No, but thank you for the assist.
You may recognize this actor from The Boys.
The same actor?
Yes, this is the third billed
actor. That's the one from The Wire?
Yes. Or the 2014 to 2017 TV series Gotham.
I cannot think of an overlapping character.
Yeah. Gotham. I'm gonna mull on that one. You can keep talking about things.
I know, I'm like, this is throwing me all over the place.
Should I move on to a different...
Yeah, go ahead.
Clue? You may recognize them as a voice in the 1996 film Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Is it Mike Judge?
No. I'll just answer that for you. I don't think giving more clues on this person is going to help you.
No,
I was looking for something specific in their IMDb.
I cannot
find it.
I have an idea of who it might be, but
I don't know why I can't find this. I'm looking for something specific and I don't see it. So, you may recognize. That's not going to help at all. We're gonna skip that clue because that is not going to do shit. You may recognize this top billed actor from such films as no, we won't even go into that yet because they're a top billed actor, so you know they got some heat, maybe potentially. They've been nominated 160 times, including 37 wins, but no Oscar wins. But they're
the top billed actor.
This is the top billed actor. Their 2 Oscar nominations, though, have been for Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role in 2017 and Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role in 2007. For the PTC Movie Club, we have watched one of this actor's films.
Too vague.
At least. I think just one.
feel like I should have gotten this off the second clue, but I still can't think of anything.
You may.
2010, right?
I'm sorry, what?
2010.
2010.
2010.
2010.
Okay.
You may recognize this director's other directorial film roles as The Place Beyond the Pines or The Light Between Oceans.
Monsters Ball.
I'm sorry, what?
Monsters Ball.
Monsters Ball was.
I don't see that listed on IMDb for this director.
You said Best Actress, right? This movie won Best Actress?
This movie had 56 nominations, 9 wins, 0 Oscar wins. The Oscar nomination was for Best Actress in a Leading Role.
Best Actress, okay.
I think we just got to get closer to the goalpost here. You may recognize. No, I can't say that. That'll be too much. You may recognize the second billed actress from such films as Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
You said Top Bill?
Knock the devil.
I mean, it's the second billed actress.
Correct.
The person that was nominated for an Oscar for this role and other roles. This actress has been nominated for 5 Oscars and 178 nominations in total with 55 wins. Their Oscar nominations include, when this will load, include a 2023 nomination for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role, a 2017 nomination for Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role, a 2012 nomination for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role, a 2011 nominee for this movie, and a 2006 nominee for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role. Those movies include, if I say the movies, you know who the actress is. I don't know if that helps you, though, but I guess
I think I already know who the actress is.
Get your hand on the buzzer if that's going to be the thing that gets you the answer, because we are running out of time. The Fabelmans, Manchester by the Sea, My Week with Marilyn, this film, and Brokeback Mountain. I think it's clear who the actress is.
Blue Valentine, then.
It is indeed My Blue Valentine, or Blue Valentine.
And then what's his name's in it, too? Place Beyond the Pines. Fucking Barbie.
Ryan Gosling.
Yep.
Who was the boy's Gotham actor?
John Doman. He's an older guy. He's the third billed actor. I don't know who he is.
I wonder.
Seems like he has a lot of TV roles.
Do me a favor, while you have that up, that director, what else? Has he done anything recently?
The director is Derek Cianfrance. Most recently, TV series I Know This Much Is True and The Light Between Oceans in 2016. Upcoming Wolfman and Empire of the Summer Moon.
No.
It looks like it might be Falcone, Mike.
Oh.
I was trying to find it in their IMDb page, but it looks like I couldn't find it. But they're maybe in Adult Swim.
Okay.
Birdman thing.
They're in the new.
And do you still have that pulled up?
Okay.
I have everything pulled up. What do you need?
Who won the Oscar that year
For what?
for Best Actress? The one.
For Blue Valentine?
No, yeah, like that year.
I don't know, but let's wrap up so Mike can leave and then we can look at that.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Well, Mike, you can bounce. You don't have to sit here for this.
All right. It's not gonna mess up your. I don't care about.
You're good. The episode's pretty much done. We appreciate you all. Please do all the lovely things. Support us on June 10th for the 12-hour live stream, and follow us on social media at Pass Controller. Do all the lovely things, and we will see you next time.